The 2021 FIA Formula One World Championship is a planned motor racing championship for Formula One cars which will be the 72nd running of the Formula One World Championship. It is recognized by the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, the governing body of international motorsport, as the highest class of competition for open-wheel racing cars. The championship is due to be contested over 23 Grands Prix, which will be held around the world. Drivers and teams are scheduled to compete for the titles of World Drivers' Champion and World Constructors' Champion respectively. Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes are the defending World Drivers and World Constructors' Champions, respectively, having won both titles in 2020. The following constructors and drivers are currently under contract to compete in the 2021 World Championship. All teams will compete with tires supplied by Pirelli. Each team is required to enter at least 2 drivers, one for each of the 2 mandatory cars. McLaren announced that they would change from using Renault power units to ones built by Mercedes, resuming the McLaren-Mercedes partnership that ran between 1995 and 2014. Racing Point will become known as Aston Martin. The name change was brought about by the team's part owner Lawrence Stroll investing in the Aston Martin marque. Renault will become known as Alpine, taking on the name of Renault's sports car brand. 4-time World Drivers' Champion Sebastian Vettel left Ferrari at the end of the 2020 championship. After racing with the team for 6 seasons, Vettel's seat will be taken by Carlos Sainz Jr., who left McLaren. Daniel Ricciardo moved from Renault to McLaren, where he replaced Sainz. Ricciardo will be replaced by double world champion Fernando Alonso, who will drive in Alpine's first season, having last raced in 2018 for McLaren. Vettel is due to move to Aston Martin, where he replaces Sergio Perez. Perez, who had previously signed a contract to drive for Aston Martin's predecessor, Racing Point, until 2022, is due to move to Red Bull Racing where he replaces Alex Albon. Albon is due to be Red Bull Racing's reserve and test driver for the 2021 season. Perez is set to become the first driver since Mark Webber in 2007 to join the team without being previously a Red Bull Junior team member. Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen, who had raced for Haas since 2016 and 2017 respectively, left the team at the end of 2020. 2020 Formula 2 champion Mick Schumacher, the son of 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher, is due to take one of the seats at the team, while the other will be filled by Nikita Mazepin, who finished 5th in the Formula 2 championship. Yuki Tsunoda, who finished 3rd in 2020 Formula 2 championship, will graduate to Formula 1 with Scuderia Alpha Tauri, replacing Daniel Kvyat, who moved to Alpine as their reserve driver. Tsunoda will become the first Japanese Formula 1 driver since Kamui Kobayashi in 2014. The 2021 calendar consists of 23 events, subject to the reinstatement of the suspended São Paulo Grand Prix contract, and permissive COVID-19 regulations set by local governments and the Formula 1 Group. Liberty Media, the sports commercial rights holders, announced that there would be scope for the 2021 calendar to expand beyond the planned 22 races of the 2020 calendar. The sporting regulations were amended to allow for a maximum of 25 Grands Prix per year. Further changes to the calendar are planned following the disruption to the 2020 championship brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Liberty Media was also reported to have come to an agreement in principle with race organizers to host a second race in the United States. Plans to hold the race at a circuit in Miami Gardens were unveiled. A second proposal to move the Brazilian Grand Prix from São Paulo to a new circuit in Rio de Janeiro was also suspended. The original calendar that was approved by the FIA World Motorsport Council included the Chinese Grand Prix, which was due to take place on the 11th of April. However, the event was postponed due to travel restrictions related to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Amelia Romagna Grand Prix at the Autodromo Enzo A. Dino Ferrari in Imola, which was originally intended to be a one-off Grand Prix in 2020, was retained in its place. Additionally, the Australian Grand Prix, which had been due to take place on the 21st of March as the inaugural Grand Prix of the championship, was postponed to the 21st of November because of the pandemic. The dates for the São Paulo, Saudi Arabian and Abu Dhabi Grands Prix were changed to accommodate this. The 2021 championship was due to introduce significant changes to the regulations, including the sport's governance, car designs and the sporting rules, but these were delayed in March 2020 in response to the disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. These rule changes will instead be introduced in 2022. The championship is due to introduce a budget cap, with teams